Mr. Langworthy from New York, you are recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Ranking Member. Mrs. Rubin, last week the European Parliament passed their crypto asset legislative framework known as MiCA. I heard from several crypto companies that due to the lack of regulatory clarity, that many firms are choosing to domicile their companies in jurisdictions that do have clarity. In addition, a recent study published by the Developer Report reported that the U.S. is continuing to lose its lead in blockchain, going from 40% of the developers globally to 29%. Mrs. Rubin, are you seeing this innovation flight as well? As if you are seeing that, how can we reverse that?
Thank you, Mr. Langworthy, for that question. Yes, the flight that you're discussing is real, and it's happening. People are fleeing to jurisdictions with regulatory clarity because they want to know that their businesses are operating within the law and that they can operate fully and that they can make investments that will stand. So it's kind of this shocking situation where the United States, which is usually at the forefront of every technology, is now standing back and allowing other jurisdictions to run ahead. And this is not just bad for the businesses themselves, but it's bad for the American consumers because we won't have access to these transformative technologies. Hedera was created by U.S. veterans. People who were teaching at the Air Force Academy. Like, we launched Hedera here in the United States as a global platform. Our firm desire is to make this be a platform from here. But it is very scary and fearful to be working in an environment without regulatory clarity. So the number one thing that you could do is help provide that regulatory clarity.
Thank you very much. And Mrs. Maniar, pivoting here to China, we know that adversaries like China and Russia, they're exploring ways to undermine the U.S. dollar and our position as the world leader in finance. As you know, markets have thrived under U.S. leadership as our values of economic freedom, capital formation, and consumer protection, they have shaped the global economy. Many are calling crypto the next wave of financial innovation. So what are the risks if the U.S. stands idly by while our adversaries take the lead in this area in the future of finance?
Thank you, Congressman, for your question. I certainly agree. I think it is incredibly important that we remain relevant and a leader in developing what this technology looks like. If the technology is developed offshore, and we're not going to see U.S. market participants not being interested in engaging in the technology, but they're going to receive what's developed overseas. And the U.S. has always been a leader in technology and financial markets, as you pointed out. And we really look to see that we continue to do that for this asset class as well.
Okay. Would any of the other panelists wish to weigh in on that question?
Sure. I think it is very important for the U.S. to be focused on the technology of payments generally. I think we're still a ways away from the dollar really being threatened. The dollar's dominance is related, as you know, to a number of factors: the strength of our economy, the rule of law, the stability of our government. But I think the technology of payments is important. And, you know, it is possible that countries could move away from using the dollar as a payment mechanism, even if they continue to invest in our treasury securities. So that's why I've supported, research not just on CBDCs, but improving payments in other ways, a stablecoin framework, and so forth.
Thank you very much, and I yield back, Mr. Chairman.